Welcome to Spanish. We're two expats, one from Norway, one from the US, sharing our experiences of living in Spain. Whether you're thinking about moving here, already living abroad, or just curious about Spanish culture, we got insights, stories, and tips for you. Subscribe, share, comment like this if you love your mom. So it's still the mom thing there. What about dad? How is it going, Mal?
It's good. It's very hot here in Madrid.
Do you have any specific numbers to throw at me, temperature-wise?
28 today.
In Alicante, it is 26, 27 Celsius, for anyone wondering. In Fahrenheit is 82.4. What have you been doing the last week?
On Saturday, we went to a disco. My friend was here from South Africa. I don't get to see her very often, and we stayed out till 6 in the morning.
Oh,
and-
you keep surprising me. I don't know. I'm just expecting you to be home by midnight, like Cinderella.
I didn't turn into a pumpkin this time, but I definitely suffered the next day. So that was fun, and I went to a museum, saw some Picassos.
You sound so cultivated. Does that mean you had a discount for entering the museums?
It was free.
It was
All of the
free.
museums were free the whole day.
I just noticed the day after I saw a poster
You were seeing, yeah.
in Alicante.
I hate when
And
that happens.
yeah, I was like, no, I could have been cultivated for free. Now I can't.
Do you have museums in Alicante?
Do you have, how condescending? Of course we have museums here. It might not be
Really?
Picasso, but yeah, they have stuff there, obviously.
What kind of museums?
I can't answer
Déjame.
you. There's
No,
probably
the chocolate
one.
factory, right?
Yeah, you.
Triggered you?
No, there's an English expression that you beat me to it. That's what I want to
Okay.
say. It was like the one cool, unexpected thing. I hate to say it, but I haven't been there because it's not that interesting. But I hear good things about it.
How has your week been?
My week has been good. It's starting to get hotter here as well. And I can even see my monitor. Like, dude, my forehead, I don't know if it's the lighting or if I should like start powdering myself. I went to the beach yesterday. It's not warm going into the water, but it is refreshing and you dry up pretty quickly afterwards. I have a bike that I went and fixed last weekend. My friend told me that they had a bike repair shop that's based out of a van. They just fixed my bike in less than 15 minutes.
So they gave you a whole new tire?
No, they just changed the tuberia.
Tube.
What the tube?
Yeah.
Oh, you call it tube? Yeah, I think it's
In
tuberia.
English, yeah.
They call it
Tube.
in Spanish. Look at me, so.
I don't know the
integrated.
word in English.
I actually didn't know the word in Norwegian either. They asked me, they said tuberia, and from context, I got it. And then they asked me, how do you say it in Norwegian? I'm like, I don't know. How do we say it in English? And I said, I don't know either. I know now in Spanish.
Just a small flex.
So yeah, that was the highlight of my weekend. It's nice for once to not start my description of the last week by saying I'm super
Work.
busy with work. Yeah.
Yes.
Another thing, I totally forgot. I had a friend from Norway and his son visiting me. It was raining the first couple of days when they were here. And when people come from Norway to the southeast coast of Spain, they have one expectation, and that is sun, just sun. But that passed. We found other indoor activities to do. It was my first time meeting his son as well. So it's like we kind of strengthen our friendship, bromance, whatever you want to call it. And I got to get to know his son. So
Be an uncle.
kind of got to be an uncle, yeah. So no, it was like really wholesome having them here. And on that note, I'm gonna throw the ball over to you because you were the one who suggested today's topic.
Yes. So today's topic, we are going to be talking about money. I guess the question is Spain cheap? A good overarching question.
Is Spain cheap?
We are going to give our opinions and do some comparisons to our countries versus Spain. I saw a video of an American guy coming to Spain to live and work for a few months, and he had bought private health insurance because you have to. And I saw a video of him saying that he pays for insurance, but that everything was free. It shocked me because I guess I kind of saw myself saying that in the beginning when I moved here, like, oh, everything is free. But I've come to find out that you have to give a caveat of like, it's cheaper than what I'm used to.
Mm.
So it just really called my attention to see another American person saying that Spain is cheap, the health insurance, everything was free. We just need to have better verbiage, I think.
Do you think a video like that sparks controversy amongst natives here in Spain?
I would say yes. I think rightfully so because it's a very privileged perspective.
That's a very articulate way of putting it. I agree. I agree. We are going to look at some specific data. But before we dive into all the fun opinions, data, numbers, we are going to have the wow,
Spanish, wow.
the Spanish wow, the word of the week or expression. Mal, do you want to start off?
I will start, yes. My expression, I heard it in my Spanish class, and I want to know if you know it. Ponerse morado.
Ponerse morado? I don't think so.
Can you guess what it means?
Well,
Or
ponerse.
estar morado. It's a color.
Is it morado, like brown?
That's marrón.
Morado. Purple? Morado is purple? I thought it was lila.
Maybe that's a shade of purple.
Ponerse morado. So, like embarrassed?
Ponerse rojo is embarrassed.
Ponerse rojo is embarrassed. Okay. Morado. Purple. Jealous? Angry? I have no idea.
Ponerse morado means you ate really well or drank really well and you're full. You had a good meal.
And you're like stuffed.
Exactly.
Ponerse morado.
Me puse morado. Like I went to the party and I ate really well. I think in Spain it's very relevant because people love to eat and they love to drink. It's very useful.
Ese
Something
morado.
to be proud of, you know. There's also estar morado, meaning you're already to that point. I feel like ponerse would be in the future or in the past, but if you already ate and you're really full or you already drank and you're really drunk, you would say estoy morado.
Okay, like in the moment, you're commenting on your current status. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing.
What's your Spanish wow?
So, my Spanish wow, I'm gonna jump to an expression that I've heard a bunch of times. I think it's slightly dated as well. It's me piro vampiro. Do you know it?
Yes, I don't think Gen Zs say it nowadays.
No, they do
Maybe
not. Carlos made it very clear. This is a dated expression. You will not find the Gen Z kids throwing it around. But I like it. Me piro vampiro. It's I'm leaving, like an informal way. Like I'm out of here. I'm bouncing. Vampiro, it's vampire. It's just a rhyme. Like it rhymes with piro.
Yes, I love that.
I think it was one of the
That's a
first
good one.
expressions I learned, actually.
Very cute, yes. Or you can just say me piro. Like, we don't have to say vampiro. Vampiro probably shows your age.
Well, maybe I want to show my age, okay?
No, yeah, it's not a bad thing.
I'm proud of my age, Mal. Don't insinuate anything else. So now we can dive into the topic. Is Spain cheap? We're not going to answer it yet. I think it's important to also ask the question, what does cheap or expensive mean to you? And for context, we are two expats living here in Spain. I'm from Norway, you, Mal, you're from the US. We grew up in other countries, but having been here and having looked at what other people learn, their style of life, what does it cost to rent a place? How do you make ends meet? Are you providing for a family or not? It's a complex topic because it's not just about numbers. It's about what are you getting for your money, and not just how many tomatoes or how big of an apartment, but what day-to-day life are you getting? How does your local Spanish life look like?
Yeah.
I want to mention that I too saw a video about an American spending some time here in Spain. I think this was a girl recently out of college, maybe even high school. She was living and working somewhere in Andalusia. Her monthly salary, I think it was 1,000 euros after taxes. She was single. She didn't have any kids. She didn't feel like she couldn't afford a lot. It was kind of the contrary. With that said, I did dive into the comment section, and there were quite a few locals mentioning, hey, this is a kind of romanticized way of seeing things because you are fairly young, you're paying for just a room, it doesn't seem like you're saving up for the down payment of a mortgage of a house or anything.
I think just in general, basically what you're trying to say is that it's subjective. It depends on who you are, what stage in life you are, what your goals are. And as a 20-year-old, you're not thinking about your retirement yet, probably.
Yeah, exactly. No, it heavily reflects someone at this specific stage in life. Also, depending on the activity of your social network. For example, I drive a shitty old Seat Ibiza 2005 model. Some people, they will be like, oh, you have a vintage car. Haha. Other, they're like, you have a car? Like, can you take us somewhere and do things? This is amazing. So, like, it's so
But they're
heavily.
two different people, right?
Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah,
from
not
two different
the
walks
same.
of life, different income
Yeah.
brackets. I'm so heavily affected by what people around me are expressing. It kind of goes back to what does cheap or expensive mean? In this sense, it's cheap because, well, there's so many other nicer cars out there, but it's expensive in the sense that, oh, you have money to have a car. You can pay for insurance, pay for gas. You can go to ep11, like the yearly approval of the car, get it fixed up, and we can go places where there's no public transport to take us.
What would make you say that a city or a place is cheap?
I think, let's say you're working full time as a waiter, if you can easily find an okay room to rent, you can pay for utilities without any problems. If it's a big city here in Spain, then yeah, I would say it's somewhat cheap.
So rent, basically, right? Rent is how you quantify or put a number to, is it cheap? Is it not?
Well, I guess it
Because
is.
that's what I think. I was thinking that in my head. Food, it kind of fluctuates between cities, but not much, especially groceries.
No, that is true. And you pay the same for utilities like water, internet, phone providers. But rent, that is the big question. Absolutely. And then there is a housing crisis going on in Spain.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, differences in rent.
I mean, I've lived in big cities in the US and small ones, and the standard of living in the cities is more difficult to be comfortable. I remember in San Francisco looking for a place. It was hard to find a place with a laundry machine. Which in a small town in the US, you would never find a place without everything you needed. Like some places in San Francisco didn't have a proper kitchen.
Oh, or just like
a hot plate.
A hot plate.
Like maybe a microwave, but not an oven. And moving there, that was shocking to me. I don't want to go to a laundromat. It was just not something I was willing to trade off, but it's expensive. No, actually, I take that back. A lot of places have laundry machines in the building, but you don't have it for yourself. It's not in your apartment in big cities. And that is also, it's basically the same thing. It's, you're fighting with people, people are taking your clothes out and throwing it on the floor.
When I lived in Guatemala here in Spain, there was a few months where I was out without a washing machine, and there was like a small laundromat at the gas station. So I would just go there like once a week or so. And at first I kind of romanticized it. I brought a book and I'm like, it's like an episode of Friends, just waiting for someone to come and talk with me. And then I got tired of it. I know.
It's very time consuming.
It is.
Especially if you sit there and wait for the laundry.
Yeah, and even just driving back and forward. No, I got
You have to plan. You have to know the peak times. That was your only place in Spain that you did not have a laundry machine in your house.
Yes.
In your place. Yeah. Actually, do you hang dry your clothes?
Oh, that's a topic as well. Yes, I do. I use the sun.
Have you always used it, or was that something you changed when you moved to Spain?
Well, it is easier here given how many days of sun we have on the southeast coast. It's pretty easy to hang dry your clothes here. In Norway, you can do it in summer outside, but other than that, you're either bound to doing it inside or use a dryer.
Right. So you have them. You have dryers.
Oh, yeah. In Norway, yeah, for sure. Obviously.
Well, when I first came to Spain and I told people I was from the US, one of the first things someone said to me was, oh, you're from the US? You guys use dryers to dry your clothes. And I was like, what? And then I realized that here it's very uncommon. to use the machine to dry your clothes.
It is. I don't know if I've ever seen a dryer in someone's home here. At the laundromat, yeah, but I can't think of a single person I know who has a dryer.
My washer machine has a dryer function.
Look at you, Mrs. Fancy Pants. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, but I don't use it.
You just wanted to flex. I had the option, but I choose not to because I'm so integrated.
No, but it's true that in the US, you don't have a washer machine without the dryer. They don't even sell it separately. You have to buy both, I think. Don't fact check me on that, but
I will not.
and also another thing, all of the washer machines are in the kitchen. And for me, that was shocking. In the US, there always is a separate space. You either have like a laundry room or like a little closet, but never in the kitchen. And actually, it's very weird to me because it's just like clean clothes, dirty dishes.
I've seen it a lot of places here, but I've lived in 3 apartments here where I've not had it in the kitchen. 2 of them, it's been a small room right next to the kitchen, and the third was just on a different floor.
Better to be in the kitchen. That was just a culture shock for me, was seeing a wash machine in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think they have it some places in Norway, but usually it's like a separate either washing room or you have it in your bathroom instead. Like somewhere where there's like a drain where the water can go
That
out.
I like. The bathroom I like.
Okay, let's round off the washing machine topic and we can jump over to work and income, the co-working space that I go to. It is international. They have their jobs, their incomes from elsewhere, meaning that their income is coming from outside of Spain. And I think it paints a very clear picture of where money can be found easily. Don't get me wrong, there are lots of startups in Spain in the tech industry, but so much easier to get an okay salary if you find a job from outside of Spain.
Oh, of course.
So going to a co-working space, whoever you're talking to, local or not, most likely they're getting the money from outside of Spain.
Well, wouldn't that just say that Spain doesn't have a big variety of remote work jobs?
That could be. I'm looking at the numbers very isolated here. This is my perception of going to the co-working space. Okay, everyday costs, groceries, transport, dining out. What's noticeably cheaper from your perspective?
Eating out is much cheaper in Spain. In the US, people that eat out all the time, they are people that make a ton of money because it really is something that only wealthy people can do. I've mentioned this before, but coffees in the US are very expensive. And so you would do it like once a week or every once in a while for a social thing, but you wouldn't do it every day. It's not uncommon in Spain to go out and have a coffee frequently, daily. And in the US, it's just not.
I have the exact same impression coming from a small town and having lived mostly in small places in Norway. It's the exact same thing. It's more expensive to eat out, more of a special occasion. Maybe you can do it like once a week. Here, there's more cheaper options. And it doesn't mean that everyone does it, but it's more a culture for doing it here. Absolutely. Another thing, everyday cost, tech appliances here in Spain. They cost the exact same as in Norway. If you take the same brands, it's the same price.
Flights, for example, the cost of flights are the same. Everybody pays the same, supposedly. There's fixed costs for a lot of things in life, even like food or other resources. And if you earn less, you're just at a disadvantage from the start.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so on the topic of costs, I have some interesting numbers. We're going to compare the cost of housing, water, and hamburgers in 3 different cities.
Bottled water.
Yes,
right?
1.5 liter of bottled water, still water. We're also going to look at the average salary of three countries and three jobs. We're comparing Spain, Norway, and the US. And we are comparing 3 cities who have more or less 1 million people. Here in Spain, it's Valencia. In Norway, it's Oslo. In US, it's San Jose in California. So let's dive right into it. First off, 1-bedroom apartments in or close to a city center.
I would say a 1-bedroom in San Jose would cost...
And this is in euros. Everything's converted to euros.
I can convert it. I know more or less. I would say it's like 2,500 euros.
Wow, you were so close. It was 2,430 euros. Okay. Well guessed. I am impressed. Okay, let's see if you can keep up the winning streak here. Valencia.
Valencia, I would say 1,500 euros.
That's what I would have guessed as well. But it says
Oh, BS.
1,069.64.
I doubt that.
Me,
Valencianos, please
y-
let us know.
yeah, that I don't know if I trust these numbers here. Okay, last city, Oslo.
Oslo, I would say 1,900 euros, 1,900.
It says 1,400 euros. I'm starting to think some of these numbers they're collected from the outskirts.
What year? I think the prices jumped
It's from the last 4 years, and obviously there's been
a huge increase. Yeah, I would say everywhere.
yes. So rent price increases. That was also a number I asked for. The only one that I was able to pull specific data on was Valencia. And between 2001 and 2004, you want to know how many percentage the rent increased by?
40.
What's with you? 46.2. Okay, let's jump over to a bit more lighthearted coffee prices. Do you want to guess a cup of coffee? Prices for two different coffees. One is black, the other one is a cappuccino, like americano y cappuccino. So San Jose, what do you pay?
Americano, you would pay like 3 euros.
For americano and a cappuccino?
5 euros. Easily.
Americano is between 3.2 and 4.6 euros. So more or less correct.
Yeah.
And then cappuccino between 3.7 and 5.1 euro. So more or less
Yeah.
4, more or less 5. Okay,
Yeah.
Valencia. Americano, cappuccino.
Americano would be 1 euro and a cappuccino 2.5.
Americano 1.2 to 2 euros. I'm going to say that is possible, but it will fluctuate. Cappuccino. It says the same price. Then Oslo, black coffee versus cappuccino.
I've never been to Oslo, but I would say Americano would be probably 2.50 or 3 euros and cappuccino 3 to 4.
Americano 3.2 euros, cappuccino 4. I would say you can get it, but it's probably more expensive depending on the place. It's an average. Okay, cheeseburger, San Jose,
A cheeseburger is between 8 and 10. No, 8 euros, maybe $10.
$15 or 13 euros. 13.9. I wouldn't be surprised if they said 20 because it's the US.
Yeah. Pretty much in California, you don't eat for less than 20 when you're going out.
I
So yeah,
believe you.
I guess that makes sense.
Okay, cheeseburger in Valencia.
7 or 8 euros.
Between 10 and 12 euros.
Okay.
And now Oslo.
Oslo, 11 euros.
Between 15 and 20 euros. I will second that. Average cheeseburger, yeah, you would need to pay that. Okay, last on the list, bottled water. 1.5 liter of still bottled water. What do you pay in San Jose?
1.5 is just this size, right?
It's 3 times the size of this bottle.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we don't have that size, but I would say a bottle of water there is almost 3 euros.
2.6.
In Valencia, I would say 1 euro and a little bit, 1 point something, but not much.
It says 0.63. Oslo.
Oslo, 2 euros.
Ooh, 1.8 euros. You're pretty good. I'm gonna give you applause for that. Well done, Mal. I'm impressed.
I've seen some stuff, Tony, in my lifetime. But I'm actually not good with numbers, so I'm a little bit surprised.
We want to stress again, people are more than welcome to comment. If you agree, disagree, have examples that support or does not support these numbers, these claims, please let us know. We are super curious.
The numbers are generalized, maybe they're old, so
Do you want to know the average salary?
yes, that's the big one.
That's the big one. Again, we're looking at 3 countries here. The 3 jobs that we're looking at is a waiter, primary school teachers, and social media managers. Let's start off with the waiter. What do you think the average salary, according to ERI Economic Research Institute, is? Waiter in Spain, yearly salary.
Waiter in Spain, I would say between 25 and 30,000 euros.
19,000 yearly.
What?
That's in Spain.
Okay.
Let's look at the US, which, by the way, these...
Are we talking San Jose or just the country as a whole?
Now we're talking countries as a whole. For the sake of entertainment, just roll with it, okay? And I know in the US, there's a different culture because there's variety and what is salary and what is tip. I know. But let's look at it as a conversation starter rather than an encyclopedia. Okay.
Okay, but I don't want people coming for me or coming for us.
I can let you know that the numbers for the waiter in the US is provided by talent.com and the US Sun.
Okay, actually, can I say something about that?
Sure.
Waiters in the US do not make salary. I would say almost all of them are hourly or they work for tips only. You're not guaranteed money as a waiter in the US. And I can say that with almost certainty. There's no salary. You don't have a salary.
I actually have for waiters, only waiters here, I have the hourly rate as well.
Oh, okay.
The average.
Okay.
Waiters in the US, what do you think an average salary is?
25 to 30, I guess I would go back to my 25 to 30
Euros?
thousand. Yeah, why not?
29.
Okay.
29,000 euros yearly salary, US. And then Norway, what do you think?
I would say similar to the US, maybe 28,000.
Ooh, it's 27.
Okay.
So really close. Primary school teacher, average yearly salary in Spain,
30,000.
26,000.
Okay.
The US,
30,000.
45.
Okay.
And then Norway,
32,000.
51. They make okay living in
Wow.
Norway.
Well, that makes sense. You guys are so progressive.
In some areas, yeah, I would say we are in terms of welfare and public.
Keeping the peace, really. I mean, it's not fair that they don't get paid more. But
It's not.
anyway,
Last job, social media manager. Starting off with Spain, what do you think it is?
15,000 euros.
25,000 euros.
Really? They make more than a waiter.
Yeah, says so here. I assume it varies where you do it. Again, we're talking average salary here. We need to keep things simple. In the US, what do you think the social media manager earns yearly?
I would say 45 to 50,000.
Pretty close, 56,000 euros.
Wow. And what year is this from?
Indeed, says updated May 12, 2025.
Okay.
Norway, social media manager.
52,000 euros.
41.
Does that mean that social media managers are higher valued than waiters and waitresses? If they're paid more?
I think that's an oversimplification because both of them will work part-time jobs. And there's no secret that you need a lot more waitresses than social media managers. But in terms of keeping society running, obviously, waiters are more important than social media managers. Like, come on.
Yeah. You would think that because of that, they would get paid better. Going back to what I said in the US, the fact that you don't make a salary, is that the same in Norway? Like, you get paid by the hour in the US for being a waitress.
Oh, we didn't have a tipping culture previously in Norway. And then slowly we started adapting it, but it's not the same as in US at all. You have a salary. You're an employee.
Okay. I think that's also important. Here, you can be a waiter for your whole life, but in the US, it's mostly people going to school or young people that they're just doing it as a way to make money until they can get to their career.
Till you break through as an actor in Hollywood.
I think that's an important distinction.
It is. It is. So, having covered all the costs, there's still other things to take into consideration with the overarching question. Is Spain cheap? We glossed over it earlier, talking about mindset and life stage, like how life goals affect your perception of affordability. When I talked about the young girl, early 20s, who probably just wanted an adventure in Andalusia. She was okay with her salary and just covering the day-to-day expenses or monthly. That is very different from someone who's in 30s or 40s. They want more space, privacy, they want kids eventually. That requires a bit more pasta, as they say here, a bit more money. So can Spain be both cheap and unaffordable depending on your stage in life? I would say yes, 100%. As I mentioned earlier, my income has fluctuated the years that I have been here in Spain. I have really felt what it means to not afford the things that I want. Spain can 100% be cheap and unaffordable depending on the life stage that you're in.
I agree with you. It really depends on your goals and your job. But I do also want to say that in Spain, you pay a lot of taxes, but a lot of things are more accessible. There's more government programs. In the US. They don't give you anything. What you make is what you have.
That's lifestyle trade-offs. Would you, Molly, trade a smaller income for better weather, healthcare, a slower pace? Let's say you were in the US right now and you have spent some time here in Spain, but you're not in the current situation. Then someone said to you, hey, you can go to Spain. You will have a smaller income, but the weather is better. There's healthcare.
I would, yeah. I think in the end, it is cheaper, just long term. So, like, everybody is going to get sick. Everybody is going to have health problems. Probably you're going to need to use the healthcare system. So if you have to pay out of pocket, out of all the savings that you've made, healthcare is not like the actual cost of healthcare services is not cheap. So if you have to pay from it from your own pocket, and most likely you will have to at some point in your life.
Me coming from Norway, where welfare is good, answering the question, would I trade a smaller income for better weather, healthcare, and slower pace? I will say healthcare, we have a good system in Norway, a good public system. So it will more be weather and slower pace. I will say yes, but it would be with the option of having the ability to have a higher salary than the average one here.
Well, that's the ideal, of course.
Like, I'm not even gonna try and justify it. We all want money and we all want welfare. We all want more doing less. I think we are reaching the end of this. And even though I have asked this question probably 10 times now, it doesn't need to be a yes or no. But would you say Spain is cheap?
No, I think it is cheap if you're coming here to visit from a place where you make a lot of money. But my short answer is no. And I think that that should be more in people's minds, that it's not cheap for the people living here, that you have to pay taxes, and healthcare is not free.
It's not. Healthcare
All
is
the
not
people
free.
paying taxes are paying for that, right? For you to get services without a bill afterwards.
It's true. Everyone's chipping in. I feel the same way. Spain is not cheap. If you're here for a week as a tourist coming from a high income, high salary country, yes. But living here, no. That's a different story. Cool.
That's it.
We have answered the big overarching question.
My initial answer would have been it depends, but no, I think after all we've talked about, it changed my perspective a little bit. I already felt that way, but yes.
No, I feel the same way. I kind of felt the same, but now I'm a bit more conscious on certain things. Should we just round off the episode?
You have nothing else to say about Spain being cheap or the cost of things in Spain? Any culture shocks? Any final remarks?
I will say one last thing. There is access to cheap stuff to do here. Because of the weather here on the southeast coast of Spain, you can get by with little equipment and still be able to enjoy your day to day. You find some shade, you have a towel, couple of sandals, you can jump in the sea, you can buy a cafe con leche for either the weekly or the daily, depending on your budget. You can hang out in beautiful parks. In Norway, there's a lot of nature, but there's a harsh climate. Half the year it's winter. Winter is expensive. You need proper equipment. You need proper clothing. There's so many expenses connected with just surviving.
Yeah. Well, I think that just speaks to how the cultural norms have been formed.
Yeah, design follows form.
It all has a
Absolutely.
reason.
Yeah.
Good observation. I like it.
Should we just say adios?
Yes. No. We hope you loved this episode. Please comment your opinion. Do you think Spain is cheap? Share it with someone.
Yes, share it with someone. Maybe
Share it to your ignorant American friend.
Start with that.
Or Norwegian friend.
And then the Giris from up north.
Oh, we have something special coming up for our next episode.
We do.
But we're not going to tell you what it is.
Not yet. You just need to stay tuned.
Something very exciting. Okay, that's all I have to say. 1, 2, 3.
Adios.
Adios.